Welcome back to Exquisitely Aligned, where we champion you to express your truest self outwardly, so you become exactly what the world is missing today. Yes, I know that's a big, bold ask, and this is the work I do. I'm here to help you see the beauty deep within you. Hi, I'm Gina, your life artist. Today we'll be discussing flowers, Fibonacci, and my face. I'm really excited to share today's topic. As always, I only share what's close and dear to my heart and, of course, my mission. And today is no different. The only part that is different is this lesson has been extremely personal and powerful. So I hope you see the power in it for yourself. This one starts with Mother Nature. She is a great force and a great teacher. I've spoken a lot about Mother Nature and her healthy benefits in the art of creating beauty through travel, especially in part 2. So if you are craving more, let me recommend that you watch part 2 of travel. Today, I want to discuss the great outdoors and the lessons we should learn from Mother Nature. It can give us a different perspective. Mind you, it's also healthy, but we are not talking about physical health today. Today, it's more about mindset and one of my favorite topics, your soul. Sounds woo, doesn't it? Here's a little story for you. I don't remember my age, but I know it was a long time ago. I remember being in an art class where the teacher explained that in nature, nothing was perfectly symmetrical. No tree, no flower, no mountain, you name it. I had to stop and think about that for a long moment because I knew, I saw and strongly felt nature to be perfect, to be beautiful, to be exquisite. I finally picked up my head and continued listening as the teacher showed us photos proving the point. And as a visual person, boy, was I shocked. It was true. Why had I not noticed that before, I wondered. After all, I was a perfectionist at the time. Now? Well, now I like to think I'm a recovering perfectionist, if there is such a thing. So back to my art teacher who shattered my theory about nature being perfect and beautiful. You see, it was at that exact moment in time that I began to understand that nature is imperfectly perfect. And it is imperfectly beautiful. And it certainly is imperfectly exquisite. And that is what I want to talk about today. The lessons in beauty and how we could appear if we follow Mother Nature's lead, her advice. So being imperfect, we live at a time when we focus on our weaknesses. If you have kids, you probably know what I mean. Why should every child be good in math? Now, math is my forte, but that doesn't mean every child should be good in math. What if we let that child thrive in something that comes naturally to them? Math. Let's stay on math for a minute longer. No, listen, I promise you, I won't bore you so much with numbers. Rather, a concept. Fibonacci. Yes, the Fibonacci sequence. Do you remember this? Fibonacci is one of the most famous formulas. Let me refresh your memory. Each number in the sequence is the sum of the two numbers that precede it. So 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. You get the picture, right? It's referred to as nature's secret code or nature's universal rule. Now, the Nautilus shell is a great example. Cleveland Design states, the chambers adhere to the Fibonacci sequence's logarithmic spiral almost perfectly. This famous pattern shows up everywhere in nature, including flowers, pine cones, hurricanes, and even huge spiral galaxies in space. But the Fibonacci sequence doesn't just stop at nature. In graphic design, we refer to it as the golden rule. It can be applied to everything from logo design, print design, website design. You get the picture. So nature plus math. Pretty interesting, right? Okay, let me give you a non-math example. Think for a minute about our wonderful cell phones. We have these amazing cameras at our fingertips all day and every day, much better than the camera I had as I was growing up. And even though they are better, we still focus on our shortcomings. What do I mean? Think of how often we touch up photos of ourselves. I think it's called Facetune or something that sounds like that. We use apps to make us appear perfect, younger, thinner, you name it. My girlfriend Marie showed it to me years ago at a restaurant. We were laughing after we took a group photo. I was amazed as she showed me how it worked. My only concern was, what happens when people see me in person? They'll think I've aged overnight. Is using an app to enhance or make us appear perfect the right way to go? I don't know. I'm just asking. As a mother of two who's lived a very imperfect life, intimately and repetitively, I would prefer not to focus on being perfect. I want to teach my children to focus on who they were born to be, and I believe it's my job to help them on that journey. So what if we began to see beauty as being imperfect? What if we became less judgmental of ourselves? What if we become less judgmental of others? Right? These are big asks. Less judgmental of ourselves, that's huge. You see where I'm going with this, right? I know you do. What if we each agree to show up, and not just show up, but shine radiantly, even with our imperfections? What if we teach our children to do the same? What if we fall in love with our imperfections? Now, let me explain. I'm not only talking about our skin tone, our hair, our eyes, our weight. No, I want to go beyond that. I want to go beyond that because I've been guided to share intimate parts of my life and teach from my experiences, or maybe lead. You really don't need a teacher, do you? Yes, that opens me up to being judged, and I know that. But I always remind myself that my calling is to help those who are ready to hear, ready to shift, transcend, transform. You pick the word. Those who are feeling called to be a part of this movement, to create an even more beautiful life and beautiful world. Those who are ready to take the next step. While those who are judging me are not why I'm here. I need to remind myself of that daily because it happens. It's true. I'm not here to please people, nor should you. I'm here to shine a light on things and ask you to run it past your inner essence, your inner knowing, whatever you refer to it as. And then, and only then, make your decision. Okay, so you see, I am passionate and fired up about this stuff. So let me explain when I say more than our imperfections that an airbrush could fix. I've lived an imperfect life intimately and repetitively. I certainly have. And the reason I'm saying this is because I typically attract like-hearted and like-minded individuals, which leads me to say, I'm sharing this with you because I have a feeling, and it's a big feeling, nearly like goosebumps, that you get it, that you've lived it, you've survived it, and you're better for it. Or maybe you're still living in it. And if you are still going through hell, please, I beg you, don't stop. So can we agree that for some people, and maybe you're one of them, life is not always perfect? No matter how hard you try to make it more perfect, no matter how much self-improvement you do, you probably already know, I believe self-improvement has a 20% chance of being right for you. It's not about what worked for others. It's about what works for you. That is a capital Y, capital O, capital U. And let's make that capital Y-O-U, I don't know, neon, sparkle, something that lights up and glows, whatever connects with you. It's life. And life, like nature, is not always perfect. Spend time in nature if you need to bask in that theory a little longer. You'll see there really is another way of appearing in life. The one without airbrushing, the one without apps to make us appear as if we have the ideal Instagram life. Moving on. With that understanding, I want to say we need to show up anyway. We need to show up authentically. Show up with our big heart. Show up speaking up from our heart, speaking up about what we feel is true and right. Show up going the extra mile because that's what we are about, isn't it? Show up doing all the things we naturally feel right doing. We need to show up even when our spouse is suffering. We need to show up even if our child is not perfect. We need to show up even when our parents are having health issues. We need to show up even when our marriage is not what we expected. We need to show up even when our bank account is not overflowing with funds. We need to show up even when we have weight on us. We probably need to show up even more during those imperfect times in our life, don't you think? I bet there's been a time or two where you may have wanted to stay in bed, but you knew you needed to rise and shine and maybe even fight a good fight. I know I have. Maybe it was a health struggle, possibly that of a loved one. Maybe it was a relationship falling apart or ending. Possibly it had to do with your finances. Either way, I bet you've had to do this at some point in your life. So this imperfect life, whatever that may be for you, Don't let that hold you back. Please, I beg you. I'm here as a person showing up imperfectly, really doing it every day, asking you not to wait. Please don't wait till it's all perfect, because I'm here to tell you the truth. It may never be all perfect. The world needs you to show up even with your imperfect life. Let me tell you why. The more of us that do this, we together can change the way perfect appears. Really. Remember my art teacher? Well, let's show up natural. Let's show up imperfectly. You see, the world needs you to be you. It needs you to be the truest, most authentic version of yourself, the way you were born. So many people become disconnected from that version of themselves. What do I mean? Well, I mean that we sometimes fall into roles that we feel we need to play, or we're following rules. Maybe we put them on ourselves, maybe someone else has, or norms that we try to follow in order to fit in and not cause a problem for our parents when we were children, or for our spouse, or our in-laws, or our kids, right? Oh, don't do that, Mom, you're embarrassing me, or don't say that. Well, this is who I am. Yes, there are parents who give in to trying to be the perfect parent, not by their standards of what they have to offer, but the perfect parent in the eyes of their child or children, pleasing and fulfilling their every desire, no matter that child's age. Think about that for a moment. And if any or all the things happen, we become disconnected to ourselves. We forget what our soul level truths are, or that we even had them. We forget what our heartfelt desires are, or that we ever had them. And I find that people have strayed away from their natural born gifts because their schooling or society had them focus on their weaknesses. You have to learn math. You have to learn math. You have to get an A. And each of those things are tragic. When we reconnect to our truths and rediscover our desires, we become powerful. We become beautiful, right? Superfuel. I don't mean beautiful in a feminine way, not at all. I mean in a perfect way, an exquisite way. And so how do we do that, right? That's the question, I guess. It's a great question, one that I cannot answer in a simple podcast, YouTube like this. For me, it typically takes working with you one-on-one over a period of time, not a long time. I work fast. I like to say I'm still in a New York time, in a New York minute, because that's where I was born. But it still takes time. I don't have time to waste, and I don't believe you do either. I'm certain you've done a heck of a lot of work already. I think I've gotten my point across. I hope I have. Now, I want to invite you to show up and shine as you, no matter what's going on in your imperfect world, imperfect life, imperfect home. Will you take me up on this invitation? Yesterday, I was talking with a beautiful soul about being exquisite. And sure, most people I meet love the concept. I love your logo. I love your brand. But some shy away thinking it's too difficult to be exquisite. Women, they envision a Tiffany diamond. Men, usually an elite sports car. But what if I told you when I speak about being exquisite, I am asking you to just, and you know what? I typically don't use that 4-letter word, just. I don't like that word, but today I'm going to use it because it's fitting. I am just asking you to be you. Does that feel easier? Does that sound more enjoyable? I hope so. More doable even, more inviting. I'm inviting you today and extending out my hand to ask you to show up and shine as you, the truest version of yourself, the one whose life may not always be perfect. If this is something you want to discuss further, please reach out to me. I'm here for you. I'm always here for you. Gina at exquisitelyaligned.com. You see, my superpower is helping you see and recognize the beauty or exquisiteness deep within you, and then helping you to reconnect with who you were born to be, discovering those missing pieces you may have put away, packed away, because when that happens, you become exactly what the world is missing today. It's missing you. The world is missing you. Till next time, show up and shine so you can become even more exquisite.